welcome. Welcome back. We're talking about August, which is nuts. I hope that July has been treating you well, is treating you well. I know we're still in July. I'm kind of switching things up a little bit. Like usually I'll do all of the videos and have them done and release them all at one time. And I don't know, for whatever reason, that no longer, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just going to release them as I do them now. And we'll see how that goes. You know, we try things out, see how it fits. Anyway, again, I hope you're doing well. I don't have much else to add, although I was like sitting down here getting ready, you know, to start your reading. And I was in like, I just had the goofiest feeling come over me. And then I like almost reached for my glasses, which I never really use anymore. I used to wear them when I would be staring at a computer for 8 hours a day. So I don't know. Anyway, are your eyes okay? Do you need to get your eyes checked out? Do you need glasses? Like, are we in denial about that? I might be too, honestly. Anyway, so we're just going to shuffle a bunch of times here. Get a message for August. Just bear with me. It's a feeling, you know. There it is. All right. What is the message for Gemini? Deep breath. Here we go. The Nine of Swords. This has come out, I think, for literally everybody so far. I mean, you're the third one that I've done, but still. The Hanged Man. We saw that for a split second. The King of Pentacles, Strength, and the Four of Wands. Okay. Interesting. Great. Very interesting. I always think it's interesting to, like, when, you know, there's 78 cards, well, 79 in this deck, because there's an extra one that the creator put in here. But out of all of the cards, you know, and no matter how many times you shuffle them, some of the cards still, you know, it's like the same cards come out. But anyway, so we start with a Nine of Swords. I also love that we're starting with a Nine of Swords and we're ending with a Four of Wands, which is, you know, two different energies for sure. So the Nine of Swords talks about anxiety, losing sleep. Although in this card, she is sleeping. There could be, it's almost like, you know, this feeling of mental exhaustion. Because, you know, there's these 8 swords here. And then there's this one sword right there, and there's a crow on every single one of these swords. And I believe crows signify change. And this has come up, like I said, in the other 2 readings that I've done, and I still have yet to look up crows. But it's almost kind of, you know, like swords having to do with our thoughts, our perceptions. It's air energy, of course, right? So very much your energy. And I believe the 9 of Swords is your card too. But there's a lot of ego that comes with the swords also, because that's generally where we hear our egos, is in our minds. So it's almost kind of like, you know, there's all of this stuff going on around you here. And you're like, I'm just going to go to sleep. And when I wake up, hopefully things will have resolved itself. You also could be focusing strictly on work, because we have the King of Pentacles here. Earth energy, or Virgo specifically. But the King of Pentacles is, yeah, I mean, Pentacles has to do with our time, our money, our physical body also. This could even really just be responsibility. Because when we talk about the kings, it's the highest expression of the suit, right? So they are in the highest position. So people look to them for guidance or, you know, money. So you could be in this position where maybe you're the breadwinner, you know, maybe you are the one that's kind of carrying. Hold on. I had to change my AirPods. I'm not sure if they even are connected. Anyway, so hopefully you can hear me. But, right, so yeah, you can be in this position where, you know, a lot of responsibility may be falling on your shoulders. I mean, this could have to do with work. It could have to do with your relationship. It could have to do, you know, with your family. You could be dealing with health, things like, you know, with the 9 of Swords above it, like this is just saying like there's too much going on here. And it seems like there is a break from that coming up here, because we move on to the Hanged Man and Strength, which is literally saying, hold on. The Hanged Man talks about willful suspension. It's seeing things from a different perspective. There's also an element of enlightenment. And this card, it really kind of looks like, to me anyway, it feels supported. It feels supportive even. You know, like these ropes are tied around them. And it's kind of almost like they're sleeping. That's kind of how it looks to me. So this could even just be like treating yourself. This could be self-care, whatever self-care is for you. But it's also, it's kind of like delegating responsibility, but making sure that, you know, like your star player is taken care of. I mean, it could be a massage. It could be, you know, even just maybe separating yourself from the situation if that's accessible. But this, again, you know, there's just this feeling of like surrender, really, is how that feels to me. But the traditional, you know, with the Hanged Man is, you know, there could be some sort of a delay. I also love how all of these cards, they're sleeping. Or at least have their eyes closed if they're not sleeping. So that's interesting. And then we have the Strength card here, which is a card of Leo. There could be a Leo around, doesn't have to be. But again, you know, I mean, like the Strength card talks about internal strength. It's not physical. I mean, it can be, since it's, you know, like next to the King of Pentacles. This could be saying, you know, try getting some movement in where you can. But, you know, the Strength card talks about perseverance and determination. It's like that not giving up attitude. And I also love how in this card, they're relaxed, you know, like this lion is just kind of laying there. But also, you know, it's almost kind of like the lion is like ready. It's like, you know, when your dog is sleeping and they hear a noise and they like, their head pops up, like that's how that feels like to me. And you're like, no, there's nobody at the door. I'm sure sunflowers actually have a specific meaning too. They, you know, that could have some sort of significance to you. Honestly, this is the first time that I'm even seeing sunflowers on this deck, and I can't even tell you how many times I have worked with this deck. Pretty observant on my part, right? But yeah, you know, like it's kind of like, you know, if you're in this energy here with these two cards, it's like, this is almost kind of like this, we know, we hear you, we get it, we see it, you know, like, and hold on, right? And again, I mean, like you could be having to be that person that kind of shows a strong front, right? And then the Four of Swords. I love that we have two fours together. But the Four of Swords is that rest. It is actual rest. It's coming off of the Three of Swords, right? Which the Three of Swords talks about, I feel like my breathing is even weird in your guys' reading. Like, I've had to, like, it doesn't seem like, you know, I'm in flow with my breath, which is weird. Like, I've had to take a couple deep breaths like a couple times, if you've heard me do that, which is interesting. It's almost like I'm forgetting to breathe for a second. And then it's like, oh shit. My body is like, hello. Take a breath. We need to breathe. So that would be the Four of Swords. Like, so, you know, coming off of the Three of Swords, the Three of Swords generally talks about heartbreak, right? But it's how we perceive that. So it's, you know, the rejections, and it could be breakups. It could be whatever, you know, with the Three of Swords. And after that is this period of healing and rest. And again, you know, there is this quality of support. I mean, granted, she looks like she's like laying in snow, but it's, you know, like just how it's kind of wrapped around her. I also love that she's holding a sword here. So, you know, in the Nine of Swords over here, we have this crow. That's, to me, it looks like they're offering the sword. I don't know. But it's kind of like, you know, whenever she opens her eyes, it's like, here you go. Like this, here's the, and the Ace of Swords talks about new perspective, new ideas, seeing things from a different perspective, thinking differently, right? Which, you know, is all of the energy in the Hanged Man also, because the point of hanging out here is so that, and hanging out upside down is so that you see things from a different perspective. But if this is the energy that you've been in for some time, there's, you know, kind of something that would be changing here that will allow you to enter into this place of rest. Less like, you know, there's 4 swords versus 9 in here, right? And, you know, there's 8 swords that are kind of sticking up behind her, but, you know, all of these swords are laying on the ground. So it's again, there's this period of mental rest and rejuvenation. Being able to, you know, either see things from a different perspective, or even just being able to start unpacking some of that mental stuff. And then the Four of Wands talks about stability, harmony, union. Wands having to do with action, communication. It could even be information. But when we get to the Four of Wands, there is this level of like celebration and accomplishment. So this could even just be feeling like you're getting some of your fire back. This feels very Stella getting her groove back, right? Like just kind of being in this position over here, feeling run down, right? And then, you know, really kind of like having to go through a difficult situation, whatever, you know, that difficult situation would be. And this would be, you know, even with the Hanged Man, like this would be something that, you know, I mean, it's something that it's like a long time coming. You know, like you've had to kind of, you know, like be strong for a period of time, either, you know, to get through whatever it is, or this would be, you know, just a super simple, you know, example would be, you know, if you've been in a job that you've hated for years, right? But felt like you couldn't leave. This would be, you know, that opportunity to do so. And especially with the Magician at the bottom of the deck, which, I mean, we'll get to the Magician. Even in relationship, right? Since, like I said, you know, it has a Stella getting her groove back kind of feel to it. Like this would be, you know, if you have been in a relationship where maybe you haven't been happy for a period of time, and maybe you were trying to kind of do everything that you knew how to do to kind of flip that around or get it back kind of on track, you know. And this would be saying that either that has worked or you're moving on. It would, of course, depend on your situation. But you know, like how Stella like goes to Jamaica to like, you know, relax, and then she ends up meeting what's his name? I know it's Taye Diggs. I can't remember what his name was in the movie though. Boo. If you know, comment below. Like, remind me. I won't even remember to look it up after I finish this reading. But yeah, you know, like, it's like, you know, going from being in this, oh, sorry, I have all this powder dye. I've been making concrete things. And anyway, sorry, I thought I washed my arms too. Sorry. Anyway, I just noticed that. But I love how, you know, like starting off with the 9 of Swords and, you know, like a feeling, ending with this feeling of, you know, getting some of your mojo back. That's not to say that whatever the situation is going to be easy or has been, but it's kind of like, you know, there is this energy of moving through it though. And then we have the Magician here. And the Magician is a card of Mercury, so it is very much your card too, since Mercury rules over Gemini. But this is the card that comes after the Fool. And let me just show you, because I had a feeling to look. But we have the Fool at the top of the deck. So, you know, you take that leap of faith, starting with that Fool. And then, you know, the Magician is like, okay, now that I've done that, how am I going to actualize this thing? Like, you know, pulling in on your resources, because they have all of the elements, right? They have the wand, they have the sword, they have the cups, the pentacle. So it's, you know, calling in or drawing in on those resources to get a thing going. And maybe too, you know, with the Moon underneath, there may be just some uncertainty about what is coming next. We have the 5 of Wands, which talks about conflict, a little bit of competition. But, you know, I always see the 5 of Wands, like I always think of Mulan with the 5 of Wands, because, so, you know, we have the 4 of Wands here, right? So we've reached this place of, you know, stability, feeling good, right? There's a celebration aspect in here. But it's kind of like there's more to be learned. There's more to be discovered. And with the Mulan reference, this is when they go to warrior training. So this is that training aspect, right? Because after the 5 comes the 6 of Wands, and that is success. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to go through this phase of, you know, learning something, trial and error even, to get to the point of being, you know, successful. And then we have the Sun, which is, you know, I mean, hello. It's all of the good feelings put into one. This is literally feeling alive again. Again, with the Fire, right? Like feeling like you have your motivation back. And again, you know, this is like a journey. This is like, it's something that, it's almost like this feeling of, it's temporary. If you find yourself in the 5 of Wands energy, just remember, you know, like the 5s are energies to move through anyway. They're not energies to like post up and get comfortable in, right? Like they're there to basically get you from one side to the other. Beautiful. We're moving through it, you know? Moving through it, Stella. I love that movie. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.